There's this thing that was recommended, which is you imagine a Pac-Man eating away a problem in the body.
That's right.
Talk about that.
They use that at a children's cancer treatment center. I believe it was in California. I can't tell you where it was. I can't remember. But they trained those children to visualize that and to see it. And they did it for, I think, like 15 minutes a day, twice a day, something like that. And many of those children's tumors just got smaller and smaller and smaller. Wish I could remember. Symington? Something like that.
I had heard about that through a friend and a colleague, and I thought that was a remarkable thing. And the thing is, most of us do not grow up learning how to visualize, that it's a practice too.
True. But if you can think it in your mind, I mean, if you went to your refrigerator right now and reached in there, but say you've got milk in your refrigerator. I don't have milk in mine, but if you had milk in your refrigerator, you would always put it in the same place. You would reach in there and get it without even thinking about it. I mean, it's there, and you would just go and get it. It's the same thing. Everything is in its proper place, and you can just go to that and just do it. You know, you in your mind, you can see where your milk is in the refrigerator.
Right, when you're a person who has milk. But let's say you want to visualize something that is not, quote, in manifest existence yet, okay? Let's say there are people that want to visualize their new home.
Well, if they want to visualize their new home, then actually they have to somehow bring it to their consciousness and have an awareness of what it is if they want something specific in a new home.
Right.
So if you want to manifest a new home in your a new home for yourself, then you would sit down every day and you would just say, I am living in my new home that is located at such and such. It is a California ranch style, whatever you wanted it to be. And you would repeat that. But it would be in the positive. It would be in the now. It would not be a futuristic thing.
Correct.
You would repeat it as if you already had it, and you would give thanks for it before you receive it.
Exactly. Now, you know how you use criteria to ask the questions with dowsing?
Yeah.
In rainmaking, we also do criteria before we ask for something. Things just aren't plucked out of the vacuum. Usually, you have criteria about things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So let us suppose that you don't know where your home's going to be. You are looking for an optimized location that has the following attributes, and you say that. This, that, maybe a well that can run X number of gallons of water a minute, this certain type of landscape, looking out maybe at a mountain with a lake there. Who knows what it is? Whatever it is, X number of feet, X number of acres.
Yeah.
And then let us suppose they give those attributes, that criteria to you, even though they could probably do it themselves in dowsing. But let's say they give it to an experienced dowser and teacher like you.
They gave it to me, and they don't know where they want to be.
Exactly.
Then I would take a map of the United States, or, if that's in reason that's where they want to be, it's in the United States, and I would go state by state and ask, is it for so-and-so's highest and best good? And I would have my pendulum swinging in my hand. Is it for so-and-so's highest and best good to reside in this state? Then if I got a yes on Montana, I would take a map of Montana, and I would go across Montana with my dowsing instrument until I found the exact spot that they needed to go and look at. But it's always for that person's highest and best good.
I totally get what you said, and so that's very, very clear. But let us suppose there are several places, let's say in the U.S., let's just take the U.S. since we're both here at the moment. Let's say there's 5 places in the U.S. Are you still going to go through 50 states?
No, because the question that I have asked is for so-and-so's highest and best good, which state would be beneficial for them or the place that they need to go to live? And I would only get one answer.
Really?
That's right. I wouldn't get a lot of different answers. If I ask for the specific state for them to move to, where they would be the happiest, where they would have the best job, where they would have the most wonderful situation for a home, that's the only one that would give me a yes.
Fascinating. Okay. So you could ask 18 times, go through 18 states and get a no, and then on the 19th you could get a yes, correct?
I could, yeah. And the trick with this is that you never, once you get your yes response for somebody,
yeah,
you don't go back and say, well, let's do this over again. You don't do it a second and third time, because for some reason, if you don't take your first response, if you keep asking the same question over and over and over again, wherever this information comes from figures out that you didn't like the answer they gave you, and so they'll change it. So you're left with still not knowing whether it's yes or no. So I always say, this is it. And if I say this is where the well is, and they ask me about another spot, I'll say, I'll check over there, but this is the best spot for you to put a well. So
it's almost like first impressions, really.
It is, absolutely.
Which are usually correct.
And that's what the dowsing does for you. It puts you, the dowsing instruments do for you. It puts you in the place of seeing to believe it. Because if the rods move, you believe it, more than if you just get that little inkling, unless you've done it long enough to trust that gut feeling that you get. Practice, practice, practice with dowsing.
What's the distinction to you between the dowsing rods and the pendulums? In your experience.
Okay. The pendulum is a handy instrument to have because, you can use it just about anywhere. You can carry it in your pocket, and you can actually use the pendulum for everything. You can use each one of these dowsing instruments, the L rods and the Y rods. You can use each of them the same way. You can get the same information with them, yes and no responses, etc. The Y rod I use out in the field when I go out somewhere else besides sitting at my desk. I use it. The L rods, I use them when I'm trying to specifically locate an exact spot when I'm out in the field on the ground. And it will lead me to a spot. Like I'll say, take me to a certain space, a certain house or a certain whatever. And it will actually turn and go, keep continuing as I follow the way it's going. Take me to the place that I want to go to. It's like a GPS, only it doesn't talk. It'll work the same way.
And the pendulums?
The pendulum is used mostly for map work and, yes and no responses, but it's not normally used in the field except for counting depth or counting gallons per minute. It is definitely an informational tool. The pendulum is. That's how you get information.
Now, we know that dowsing has been incorporated by some top remote viewers in the world who have definitely confirmed that it works.
Absolutely.
And my question to you is, how do you explain to people that have never experienced dowsing, let's say with a pendulum, that it's not you and your hand who's moving the object? How do you explain that?
Well, one of the things that I do when I teach dowsing, and I teach other people to do the same thing, I have what I call a ready mode. And I don't just let my pendulum just hang down and wait for it to start moving. I have it physically. I am moving my pendulum, and I call it